SuperTalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And don't forget, you can watch us if you would like. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV, and you'll see I'm not alone in the studio today. It always makes me smile when I got a friend come stop by, and that's what's happened. We've got Ben Compton. He's comedian, dad, veteran. What else you want to, what was it, Beta Club chaperone, all of the above, back in the house with us. And Ben, the last time you were here on Good Things, you were just kicking off one of your other comedian tours, and that was how many years ago?
I was trying to look earlier. I think it was right at 7 years. We had just done Heart of the City here in Jackson. And we were getting ready to do Comedy Central, and then COVID happened, and now my perception of time is just absolutely gone.
It's gone, and it just goes by really fast. I know you've got a young daughter that you're heavily involved in her life and just keeping up. So happy to have you back. I follow you online, and I saw that you had an upcoming tour that looked pretty extensive. Like it has grown for you over the last couple of years. So I thought it'd be a good time to sort of catch up. Now, not everybody was listening 7 years ago, Ben, so we're going to act like some may not have heard it, but your story to comedy to me is a really inspiring one. So kind of give us your backstory. How did you find yourself in this profession of trying to make people laugh?
Yes, I mean, I think I always was kind of the jokester in general, you know, especially growing up. I always like to say that I'm the smallest of my brothers. You know, I got like 6 brothers. I'm the smallest, so you got to make everybody laugh, you know. So growing up like that, especially in school, and then I joined the military. I did 10 years in the Army. And I deployed to Afghanistan, and I was always the guy that just felt like no matter what the situation was, it was like if we can laugh our way through it, then we can definitely get through it, you know, no matter how bad things got. And so when I got home from Afghanistan, I just I said, you know, if I could do that, let's go find a stage somewhere. So I was in Hattiesburg. I found Hub City Comedy. Went to open mic and got on stage, fearful as could be. Did it for the first time, and I just fell in love, man.
So I have to admit, getting on stand-up comedy to me, I don't know what I would rather do. Get up and try to do stand-up comedy, or just get up and sing a cappella.
I cannot sing, so
one or the other. I don't know which would be more terrifying because it's so raw and vulnerable, right? Like, yes, I talk for a living. That's completely different. I have no idea if you're at home rolling your eyes, clapping, cheering. You know, I always just think it's me and Rhino here having a good time. But you get that sort of immediate feedback if you sort of don't get the laugh. So, number one, the courage it took to sort of do that for you. Did you come up with a routine for that first go at Hub City Comedy?
I did. So I was trying to kind of pull from some life stuff at that time. So my wife was pregnant with our third daughter, who is now like my child that keeps us busy.
Jokes right themselves.
Yes, they do. Yes, it was, and it was a time where like it was pure chaos between. We had just moved to Hattiesburg, and so they felt like there was a lot of material that I was working through, you know, myself. And I've watched that video now because every now and then it'll pop up like on my memories, and it is garbage. It's like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Oh, but still, it was your launching pad.
It was.
So what was it about that night, or I guess did the crowd respond? I mean, obviously they didn't completely boo you off, but was there an energy there that you just didn't realize that maybe you enjoy connecting with also in front of a live audience?
I think it was a little bit of both. So like the second that I started, the cord fell out of the microphone. Now, mind you, I've never had a microphone in my hand at this point. This is my first time touching the microphone, touching the stage, any of that. So as I pick the mic up, the cord falls out and I cannot get it back in. So the first about 3 minutes of my comedy career was just me fumbling with this cord. The host walked back on stage, put the cord back in for me.
Like
and
nervous
I
sweats?
Oh my God. Yeah. If I could have passed, I might have passed out. I'm not 100%. I might have actually passed out. I'd be brought back to life. But yeah, once I started and I got that first laugh that was on purpose, it just felt like, I equate it to almost like taking the first breath of like fresh air. You know, when you've been stuffed up inside all the time, you know, you walk outside and you get that first little bit of sunlight, that first good breath in. That's what it felt like for me. And to this point, for the rest of my life, I have never felt that in any other place except for, except for comedy.
So the Hub City Comedy. I went to Hattiesburg, 2 degrees, spent a lot of time there. I didn't realize there was like a comedy kind of hub there. Like, I mean, it's in the name, Hub City Comedy, but I mean, I didn't realize there was this place that was fostering this kind of talent. Has it been around? Is it still around?
Yeah, so it's still around. It's been going since, I want to say Hub City Comedy started in 2012, 2011, somewhere in there. It was started by Jamie Arrington, and he kind of fostered it originally as a local community with an open mic, and then it built to where it became these regional and national headlining comedians coming in. And even now, we have a very good open mic that's every Thursday at Southern Prohibition. And then we bring in regional and national headliners still. As people have kind of come and gone, people, local comics have moved away, gone to bigger markets, whatever it may be.
And is it true, is it even though there's many of you in vast different genres, kind of like music, but is it still like a small-knit community of comedians?
Yeah.
I feel like because it's a harder talent. I truly believe that or it's a scarier one, if nothing else. I mean, you have to write your own material, so there comes to that. You have to get up there and prep it, and then you have to present it. So there's all these different sort of layers to it that I don't think people appreciate. Okay, it's one thing to enjoy this as a hobby, Ben, but I guess at what point did you come back to your wife, who's now have 3 of your children, and say, babe, I think I want to make a career change?
It was multiple times before she finally gave in. Actually, so I did open mic for the first year, just open mic. After that, I booked a couple of shows, and I'll never forget, it was Christmas of 2015. I had booked 3 shows in a row, and we argued because we did not have gas money. She's like, we do not have gas money for you to book shows. You cannot do these shows. And we fought for a solid week. We fought, and I was like, I'm going to these shows. I don't care what you say. And we finally, I went to the shows, did the shows, and after all the shows were done, she was like, if you love it enough for us to fight about it, then I guess you must really love it. Mm-hmm. And she was on board with it after that.
So, like any other kind of form of entertainment as a career, I mean, it's a game of chances, right? I mean, there's some luck to it, but there's also a lot of hard work and grit and grind to it. So, what made you think that it was going to be worth it? I mean, to do that?
I don't think there was ever just a solid time or a solid thing that said this is worth it or this is for me. But it's always just been that feeling. I think anytime you find your niche, whatever it is in life, whether it's your personal life, your career, your hobbies, when you find it, you just kind of feel it, that warm and fuzzy, and so there's no better feeling that I have than whenever I'm genuinely bringing that laughter and joy to people. I mean, even in my personal life, things like that, just bringing laughter has always given me that warm and fuzzy feeling.
So how many years have we been at it?
So this will be year 11 this year.
This year 11. Yep. I hope we had gas money to get here today.
Yes, we did.
You and your wife didn't fight over you coming to good things today?
No fights, yeah.
Okay, good.
Luckily, I will not sleep on the couch tonight, so that is good. Yep.
When did you realize, Ben, you and your wife too, because this is a decision you guys obviously made together, that, okay, this is going to work. This is actually starting to pay for the gas.
Right.
And, and I'll say that laughingly, but at some point you have to realize that there is a flourishing career, or maybe you go and find something else when you have a family to provide for.
Well, I think that's the thing, is it's a balance, because especially for this area of the country in the South, it's hard to find consistent shows where it can be your only,
Mm-hmm.
You have to find other venues to book, other events, and I think for me and my wife, as we sat down, I've always agreed that as long as the bills were taken care of, then comedy would never become before that. We'll always make sure that the house is paid for, the lights are kept on, things like that. So throughout the years, I've always, maintained a job of some kind. And there's times where, I get up, I go to work that morning, get the kids off to school. I leave that night, go to a show, drive back home, get up for work the next morning, do it all over again. And I've just always made that my dedication to her, is that no matter what, comedy will never come before you, the home, the kids, none of that.
That's why y'all aren't fighting anymore.
That's true. Well, I mean, we still fight. We still fight. Don't get but not about comedy as much.
Do you ever pick them just to get some material out of them?
Every now and then. I don't even do it just to get material anymore. I'm just like, let's just make sure we still lovey-dovey after this is all said and done,
Oh, that's funny. In terms of your material, I mean, you probably get it from a wide different array. Are you one that just walks through life with eyes wide open, looking for what people may be missing that could bring some humor to it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always try to say that I find the humor in everything, even in the worst of times, because no matter what, there is an opportunity to find laughter. So even if it's not a joke for me, if it's just a funny anecdote, I'll just write it down. Even if I don't write it as a joke later on, I'm like, oh, that was funny in life.
So is that kind of like, musicians, if they get, they may get like a word sent to them, or I guess they may get like a verse or something that comes, and they'll, the muse, I guess, starts to speak, and they sit down and start writing. Will you do that with comedy as well?
Absolutely. I'm bad about not writing so much now. I will do voice notes like crazy. If anybody ever gets my phone when I die and they listen to my voice notes, they will be like, hey, this man should have been certified crazy. Because it's just a bunch of random stuff that, like, I just throughout the day, I just find I'll see something, I'll think of something, and I'll just sit there on my phone, just talk into it.
Just talk into it. Well, I hope you continue to talk here with us. We've got more with Ben Compton coming up next. Also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app, and always too on that local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And don't forget to watch us, which you can do over on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. Continuing our conversation with comedian Ben Compton. He's been up and at it for 11 years now, hitting up the big stages, small stages, all stages in between. But you have a full-blown tour. Are you in the middle of it, or is it started for you yet?
This is what I would say the beginning of it. It's running right now through the vast majority of it is going to run through May, and then I'll taper off come the summertime, just to kind of dive into a little more personal work and then with my kids. So
I know, you don't have to tell everywhere you're hitting up, but set the stage. If we were to come to a Ben Compton show, what can we expect, and kind of walk us through that? Because there's some, I think, listening that have never just gone out and supported their local comedians like they should.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as a typical comedy show goes, a lot of people get that thought in their mind that it's going to be this don't sit up front because they're going to mess with me and this and that. And a lot of times it's not that, because comedy is such a vast spectrum of comics. You have the comics that tell the stories, which is kind of more what I do. I'm less of a set up punch comic, more of a kind of a weaver of a story. And so anytime that I'm doing a show, I try to make sure that it's always very high energy. I'm an energetic person, so I try to convey that on the stage as well. And I always try to make sure that the crowd is having as much fun as I am. That's my biggest goal.
Yeah, and then so where can they find dates for you, Ben?
So you can find me on any of my social medias. I've made it real easy for everybody to find. It's just at Real Ben Compton on everything, or just Ben Compton if you're on Facebook. I announce all my dates through there, different graphics and things like that. So, and then as I make changes, because a lot of times, you never know, stuff comes up, and I will say this is the first time I've stretched my legs in a long time, as far as this long of a run, to where it's basically every week I'm gone. I've had to have some things come up with the family and stuff like that. But I always try to make sure to keep everything up to date. So.
And you got other exciting news. So you're stretching not just where you go, but what you do. So you have an album coming up?
Yes.
Tell us about how you transition to that. That's also terrifying.
It is very terrifying. So a lot of prayer is how I got there. So I've worked some material for a while now, and I finally just sitting on it. I felt like there was no better it could get. I felt like I had worked it and worked it and worked it. So last August, I recorded. The hope was to do it as a special, as a full visual special. Like anything in life, things happen. And anything that is supposed to be for you, you have to go through obstacles. I believe that at least.
Sure.
A lot of people are like, oh, man, if this gets hard, it must not be for me. And I do not believe that at all. So as I was kind of taking on some of that stuff, I realized, hey, man, this is such a good product that even if visually we can't push it out, whether it be to a streaming service or whatever, I want to put it out even just for me. And so I decided to go on the album side, and it'll be coming out this spring, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah. Will that be in the middle of your tour?
Yes. So the hope is, again, barring any issues, the hope is within the next 3 weeks we'll have it dropped out.
So it's an album of comedy or album of you
singing?
It
is a comedy album.
Okay.
No,
I thought you went a whole other album.
Listen, if I could sing, I would.
I was like, wait, he just told me you couldn't sing. But...
Look, all my family grew up, my grandpa was like a blues guy, and they would have jam sessions in the garage and stuff like that. I got zero musical ability at all, and so I just tell jokes.
So you mentioned you're the youngest of, is it 6 boys?
Well, so
or 6
I
siblings?
It's weird because I'm the oldest on one side, the middle on another. Yeah, so my parents divorced when I was young, and so on my mom's side, I have 3 brothers where I'm a middle, and on my dad's side, I have 2 where I'm the oldest.
Oh my God! If you're the middle of both, you really are screwed.
Yes, but I'm the smallest out of everybody. Everybody.
So are you the only one though that has kind of taken this route of entertainment?
Yes. Yeah, I'm the only, as far as I know. Some of them may be sneaking off and doing a little something. I had my youngest brother. He tried to do open mic a couple of times, and I think it went really well for him, except getting too drunk. I think that's what his problem was.
Oh, yeah, that's probably never a good, that should never mix well.
He was more of a, let me get this out, this trauma out, more than these jokes out.
Yeah. A little bit more of a therapy session.
Yes.
Well, okay, for those that are listening to good things, though, Ben, because I feel like, we've seen people who start at any age of life. Obviously, you've been at this for a decade, but you kind of not course corrected, but changes courses in your career, midlife. You had children. What would you say to that person who's like, I've always wanted to just give it a try, or has this sort of passion or dream, but they think, I've missed the boat, because you balance it. So, I mean, I'm sure there's rocky moments, but you're figuring out how to do both.
Yeah, I would say first start having fun. No matter what it is, it's never going to be perfect, and it's never going to be a career first.
Mm-hmm.
Even for me now, it's not so much a career, even still as it is what I consider a hobby, because I have so much fun with it. I feel like once it becomes work, you stop having fun. So if you're going to an open mic, if you're going to a show, if you're signing up for a guest spot or whatever it is, just go with the mindset that no matter what happens, it's not the end all be all. I'm just going to genuinely have fun with it.
Well, and I think that also makes for a great entertainer and people coming out to sort of see and enjoy you. But I think you need to go for America's Got Talent. We got Chapel Hart.
Yes. So it's funny, actually, I have a connection to Chapel Hart. My wife, that is her cousins.
What?
Yes. And so my family runs Jacob's Well Recovery Center in Poplarville, and they're very close with them as well. So
well, then it's just meant to be.
It is. It is meant to be. Yes. I actually have I have a couple things in the work. Not so much in the America's Got Talent way, but a couple other things so that I
feel like your wife just needs to then get a video and send it off maybe for you.
Yes.
And so that way we can kind of keep up with you there too. I mean, it feels like, and it's just like with anything like a musician or any other kind of entertainer right now, man, it's just so hard, to break it to that next level. But then sometimes you wonder if that's even what you would truly want at this stage of life with still young kids, right?
For sure.
So it can come kind of at any moment. But this is your moment for your big stint.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when you get to those points in life where they're, I call them those milestones, but I guess they're more of just those level ups. You do have to decide, hey, is this what I want, or is this the last level that I want, or whatever it is. And for me, I've sat down for a little while since COVID, and I was like, this is terrible. I want to be on the road. I want to tell jokes. I want to have fun, and so yeah.
Do you have a stage? I don't know if like comedians have the same like golden ticket item stages as like musicians or artists do, but is there like a stage that comedians sometimes get invited to or can fill out that like it's on Ben's like that would be amazing?
Yes. So the new one now is Netflix. If you can get a Netflix special,
okay.
that is top tier. For a long time, it was Comedy Central, which I was very fortunate to do very early on in my career.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, just a personal thing now is releasing my first special. So my album special, whatever it is, having that first one that is mine, and I can say, man, I put some hard work into it. That's a milestone for everybody.
Will that be something people can like download like music, or will they have to buy you have to buy an actual CD?
No, I probably will have an album pressed just for me.
Yes.
Yeah, just for me. But it will be available on all streaming services, wherever you get your music at, and your other comedy albums, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere like that, you'll be able to get it.
Who do you test your material on?
I would say my kids and my wife, but they think I'm trash. So I try to avoid them as much as possible. I really test, to believe it or not, now I test my material on social media. I've gotten to where like open mic is fun, but if I have a premise where I'm like, hey, I wonder if this joke will hit, I'll make a quick little video real fast, and I'll see what the comments end up looking like.
That's scary.
It is very scary.
Again, Ben, very brave of you to
Especially
be able
when
to
you
do
get
that.
no likes or no engagement. You're like, this is terrible. I'm terrible. I hate everything. And then he's like, okay, well, no, never mind. It's actually pretty good.
Do you still feel like maybe your comedy is kind of in the middle, but do you feel like you're able to be the comedian you want to be?
Yeah, I think I still have some growing to do. More on an entertainer side, and that's why like the show that I'm doing in Hattiesburg now, that's that monthly show. It's a place where I can learn, and then the other hosts that I have with me, that they can learn how to be performers more than comedians. Because comedy is a very niche thing. It's I tell you, it's hard to get people in a space where you're like, okay, be quiet, only listen to me, don't have fun at your table, whatever it is. I'm the center of attention. Not everybody wants to do that every time they go out, So for me, the growth is getting to the point of being an all-around performer or entertainer.
Well, you're just like any other indie artist. We got to get out and support you. You're like your own little walking, small business. And I tell people, we forget that we talk about supporting small business all the time here on Good Things, but we forget our independent artists. They are small businesses, just kind of in a different package in that way. So if we want to support you, first and foremost, just following you on social media.
Yeah, so social media is a big one. Again, at Real Ben Compton on everything.
all the places?
I have everything: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. As long as it's here, who knows how long it's going to be here? Everything in between. So you again at Real Ben Compton or just Ben Compton, and then we have the monthly show now live at the Litter Box. It's in Hattiesburg every month. It's the first Friday. The first Friday or Saturday of each month, depending on how the calendar falls. So that's a big place, just to get out if you want to support.
Where's your next on your tour?
So actually tomorrow night I'm in Hattiesburg at Fat Cat for Live at the Litter Box, and then after that, let me see. After that, I go to Mobile, and I'm in Biloxi, and then Houston.
And then Houston.
Yeah, so Houston.
What's the Biloxi date?
The Biloxi is March 22nd at the Sanctuary. I'll actually be with DJ Red, so that's pretty exciting.
Oh, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, it can't be another decade before you come back, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Or 7 years. All
yes.
right. Well, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up.